ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lights, camera, action.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Do you know who I am?
Live and local inside the J. Michaels studio.
People know me.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hot tub!
Hell, get in it. Make it whip. Make it whip.
We are live. Glenn just got out of the hot tub. I tell you what, hot tub is coming soon, baby.
right.
Soon.
Yeah.
That Gulf of Mexico will be a hot tub soon.
That's right.
Brian, good morning, buddy.
Morning.
We were just talking, Brian, I was talking that right now is the best time to be in Panama City Beach. Is that you can actually drive around, get somewhere.
That's true.
Pretty nice.
It used to be the entire fall, but
Yeah, not anymore.
now it's just 1 week a year.
Well, here's the thing. When they put all those houses out there, good luck.
Yeah, hey, in the houses, all these apartment complexes they put
yeah.
everywhere. Instruction doesn't matter to people.
No.
Hey, let's just do it.
Well,
Let's
there's
just do
4
it.
lane and 390, and that's only 20 years too late.
Yeah,
So,
unbelievable.
but that's okay. We're getting after it. We may not see it, but we'll know what's going on.
We'll see it. We'll see it now. I got a question for you. Glenn's with us. Glenn Manley's with us on Wednesday, like always, the legendary Glenn Manley. Before we get into Bay, I want to ask you about this, because you lived, and maybe you might not remember, because I didn't. We used to play in Memphis. Their ex-head football coach died at 90 years old. Did you know him? He's from Pensacola, Florida. And I just lost it. Fred Pancoast.
I think Frank Feuder probably would know, or Don Deaton would know, and then maybe, John Cobb's passed away, but, those are, yeah.
He was there from 72 to 74. I think he worked at Georgia for a period of time with Vince Dooley, I think that's who it is.
Right.
But he just passed away. He was 20 wins, 12 losses, 1 tie in his 3 years at Memphis. And I'm trying to think where else he coached. But anyway, that's kind of sad. 90 years old. That's a long time to live, man, after going through all that stress coaching college football.
It is.
Heck, he almost caught you, Glenn.
No, he's a little bit away in front of me. So
What year was, all right, he's 90 years old. What year was he born?
90 years old. Let's see, probably 1933.
That's the reason I asked you, because I thought the same thing. 1932. 1932.
So he had a birthday before we. I mean, hey.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Too early for math.
Yeah.
Bay High School football. They got Coach Hudson on later today. We got Glenn Manley in here. What's going on locally? What's going on at Bay High School? Anything
Well,
special?
first of all, we have a lot of people that listen to us, but I got to give a shout out to the district maintenance department, because they have so many schools to take care of, and when we call something in, we're on our schedule and we're not on their schedule, and they're so busy. But there's some people out there that I should thank, and but they want to remain not anonymous, but they do such a good job. But everything, they're going to do some improvements at Bay High, and I actually met with some yesterday, and we went over quite a few things, and I'm proud to say they're going to be right on it, and they try to give a little something to every school every year, so it's not like, okay, they just pick out one school, but you got to realize after the hurricane, they've been very busy. So, but I just want to give a shout out to the district maintenance department. They're doing a great job.
They sure do. And I'm sure they appreciate you doing that.
So,
you
but,
really do.
They do.
And your maintenance department at Bay High School does an incredible job.
So we do. We try. We do the best we can.
Yeah.
So,
wait a minute, Glenn.
Yes. Uh-oh.
We got a caller. You come on the phone. You come in here, and everybody calls. Good morning.
Okay, wait a minute. Just be warned. I don't know which thing does what, so here we go.
All righty.
Good morning.
This is Dr. Coach Mike Miguel Whitworth coming to you live from Cottondalia or near there. Don't tell the police. How are you?
We are doing good, Mike. How everything good with you?
That's actually called Cottondalia, by the way.
Cottondalia. I can't remember how you folks from East Nashville pronounce it. Did you grow up in the Steiner Lift junkyard there?
Pretty close.
Yeah, I thought so. Hey, Coach Pancoast, or Pantyhose as he was known to some of us who loved him. Anyway, he whooped up on the balls.
Oh, really?
He was a coach at Vanderbilt. Yeah, 1970-6, I believe. Something like that.
Okay, so I knew he coached somewhere else. So it was Vandy was the other school?
Memphis, He's coached at Memphis and some other places. He's a good coach. He was so smart, though. He left coaching after getting fired at Vanderbilt and went into business and made money. That's back when coaches didn't make the kind of money they make now.
Right.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, and he succeeded Steve Sloan and was before Coach McIntyre, who he's departed too. I think Steve Sloan's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still alive. He's still kicking.
Coach McIntyre's namesake is one of the top-ranked recruits in the country. Brian knows about him because somebody told him about it in the afternoon. But is Brian listening?
Yeah, he's listening.
I'm here.
Well, I want to write a tone poem about Coach Manley. We might even turn it into a country music song. I got to ask him some questions, though, because I want to be fact-based. Coach Manley, did you ever play against the Dead Poets Academy out there on the Harding Pike up on the hill?
No, sir, I did not.
Yeah, well, I figured y'all weren't good enough to beat Two Rivers out of going to the Clinic Bowl, or maybe even.
No, we played them in a scrimmage game. We didn't play them in. They used to. One of their calls was thunder and lightning, and it started raining when they did that, so we had to leave.
Yeah, well, I got a line for you since you did scrimmage them. See, I scrimmaged Coach Catnanny's team. He was dead, though. But let's see, husbands and brothers and peoples, too. We were all gentlemen when we stuck our shoes into you. Does that make a good line?
That was great. I think Alabama's going to pick that one up. That's pretty good.
Yeah, when you play the country music song backwards, you get your truck back, your wife back, your dog back. So.
Well, we won't waste too much time talking about Nashville days, but Coach Pancos was a legit guy. And he ended up living in my school zone. Although he didn't live in my neighborhood, he had a much nicer address than mine. And eventually, up on that big hill he lived up on, Albert Haynesworth moved up there.
Huh.
The great Tennessee Vol tackle, and not so good, pretty good Tennessee Titan, and terrible Washington, the team formerly known as the,
Redskins. Yeah.
Right. Well, y'all having a great day. I tell you what, there's a Wild Kingdom story out of South Florida. The animal rights people want to fire the Fish and Wildlife Commission agent who ordered the execution of some pythons and a pregnant boa.
Oh, no.
Kill them. Get rid of them. Send Tommy Santamont down there.
I'm looking forward to a little bit of fireworks in Rayford, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bye now.
All right, Mike. All right, Glenn, get back. What's going on?
Well, first of all, we had the district tennis tournament Monday and yesterday. We have a tie between North Bay Haven and South Waltons. I think it's girls, and so they're playing off today, and then I'll have the final things I could give tomorrow, or I'll send them in to you about the district tennis tournament. So we actually, Coach Oles got the one of our blowers out, and he actually blowed off the tennis court. He did a great job yesterday. So I was just kind of the supervisor, So, but anyway, they did it. Our softball girls Monday night had their senior night, and so they actually defeated the Rams. And we had 3 young ladies: Brooke Guidus, Faith Miller, and Shakira Yates. They were Shakira Yates is a 4-year letterman, but those young ladies were seniors, and we're glad they did a great job, and we're proud of them. They represented Bay well. We have 3 young men going to the state this weekend for weightlifting: Mario San Juan, Adrian Bryant, and Jordan Sykes. So we want to congratulate them to going out and representing Bay High School. Hopefully we'll bring back another champion like in the girls weightlifting. Coach Bailey is the assistant coach in that. So, and Coach Hardy's the head coach. So they're leaving tomorrow. And Good luck. They will be lifting Saturday on 8 o'clock and then 12 o'clock. So, and then the county track meet today is at Tommy Oliver, starts at 10. I think Mosley is the host on this, so we want to congratulate all of them. Does
Josh Wright still have a lot to do with that?
I think up at Bozeman, I think so. And then the baseball team, we play Mosley on Saturday. They played Arnold last night. I'll let Coach talk about that. And then also they they're going to Gadsden County tomorrow. Oh. So if I sound a little hoarse, but not as quite as Southern, it's because I have a cold, and I've been drinking cough syrup like a Buffalo Rock product, and also a little Sudafed.
Well, your sister came down and got you sick.
She did, so, but anyway. It's a great time to be a tornado. So all the other schools are doing great, and all the athletes this spring. We're getting close to graduation and all that. So,
all right, let me get this in here real
Yes,
quick.
sir.
We're going to have the Atlanta Braves game on today, 6 o'clock versus the Reds. I mean, that whole series we've been listening. You can listen to it right here on the ESPN Northwest Florida. Atlanta Braves baseball. They're doing really well. I was going to tell you what's. Oh, Dana. We had Dana here yesterday.
Oh, wow. Did she do any dives in here?
She did a couple flips, but she did a great job. And we were talking, with school of choice, we talking about, how all the sports lock heads and one kid going to one school and one kid going to the other. They said, and she's coaching all the schools in Bay County with the diving, and they really don't have a problem with kids flipping schools and swimming. Am I right about that, Brian?
Yeah, honestly, the only time it becomes half an issue is usually when the kids are coming out of middle school and they're deciding where to go. And 99% of them are making that decision based on if they're going to go into an ACE program or an IB program or whatever like
Maps
that.
or whatever, yeah.
Maps. It seems like that's where the decision is made more than anything to do about what swim. Now, where it may come down is in the recent past, Rutherford hasn't had a team. And so they may want to be a part of a swim team, and so they may make a decision between like Rutherford and Bay or, whatever like that. Obviously, North Bay Haven's different because they got to get in the lottery. But for the most part, it doesn't have anything to do with the sports element of it. There have been one or two occasions, but...
Okay.
Right. Coach O sent me in some tennis.
Okay.
Thing, and the boys, North Bay Haven was first, South Walton second.
Nice.
The Rutherford girls advanced to the state. Walton
right.
boys had a single person advance, and then like I said, there's South Walton and North Bay Haven are playing for first place today, as the rain got him yesterday.
Coach Oles still coaching?
He coaches everything, and he referees, umpires. I don't know how he stays at home.
I'll tell you what, he's a great family man. I see his kids and him out in the summertime. I see him quite a bit.
Right. And then we have the break-even golf tournament. Lee Anderson always has the things for the junior golfers. So the next one is April the 18th at Nature Walk, and it starts at 9 o'clock. Registration's $8.15. It's only $12.
Is this like a fundraiser?
It is. It's junior golf.
Oh, junior golf.
Junior golf, and so we played in the fundraiser last weekend. Unfortunately, about the 15th hole, the bottom fell out. So I took it in because I can't swim with that water that deep. So anyway, but Lee does a good job with it, and so you want to come on out there and see it, and then he takes care of all those kids. It's a junior golf event, so get it there. 18th. Okay.
All right, we get back. Coach Hudson had a big game, big rival game yesterday versus Arnold. Talk about that. Talk about everything that's going on in Bay High School baseball. First-year coach, state championship coach, doing a great job over there, building that program back, and he will, believe me, he will bring it back. I know that for a fact. Just like I know Chuck Tucker is number one in all real estate closing, South Oak, title on closing, any kind of questions, anything. You're even thinking about doing a real estate deal. Demand Chuck Tucker, all the big-time realtors do. And there's offices throughout Northwest Florida. Chuck Tucker, South Oak, title and closing. I'll get it right in a minute. Today is what, Glenn? It's Wednesday. What's that mean?
World famous Spaghetti Day.
Brian, what time?
I'll be there 11 a.m.
Tell you what, when the doors open on Wednesday,
I'll be 94th in line, but I'll be there at 11 a.m.
Tell you what, baby. Well, Wednesday, it's a madhouse there. Wednesday, get there. You'll have a great time. It's the only time they do it, once a week. World famous J. Michael Spaghetti. Seafood, the fried shrimp, you can't get it better anywhere. Their fried shrimp's the best you'll get anywhere. J. Michael's Restaurant, Thomas Drive. Legendary place. Stevenson Air Conditioning, number one. Locals, taking care of locals. Local company will take care of you anytime, day or night. If it breaks down at 2 in the morning, give them a call. They'll get out there and solve your problems. They are number one. Not even close. Love Jason, that crew down there. Stevenson Air Conditioning, number one. Then what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Buffalo Rock Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
And it's good.
It is fantastic.
Have you had the what I tell you, what's Brian? Strawberry zero sugar. That's unbelievable.
It is. I had it. You gave me one last week. It was good.
Did you like it?
Oh, yeah, I did. I went out and bought 2 12-packs.
That made my day. I made you happy.
That's right.
I noticed your tail was wagging.
That's true.
All right, we'll be right back. Coach Hudson, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, 102.1 Mariana, and 101.9 Port St. Joe. Be right back.
ESPN ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Hendon, I'm sure people have either told you or you've seen yourself what the so-called experts are saying. And what they are saying is that you are moving up that draft list very quickly.
It's a blessing, and I just continue to work, continue to put in time and effort to my craft and what I love to do on a daily basis.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Wednesday weather forecast. Moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico will be giving us clouds and showers and maybe a thunderstorm today, tonight, and Thursday. Temperatures during the day, mid to upper 70s. Temperatures at night in the mid 60s. Water temperature in the Gulf is 71 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Living on the Gulf Coast, we have beautiful beaches, clear water, and amazing marine life. Want to bring a piece of the ocean into your home or office with an amazing aquarium? Gulf Coast Aquarium, the area's only certified platinum CCHEM dealer. Their staff are all certified CCHEM specialists. Gulf Coast Aquarium can install, design, maintain, and finance your own piece of the Gulf. Gulf Coast Aquarium, powered by CCHEM, with over 40 years as a U.S.-based manufacturer of quality aquarium products. Online at GulfCoastAquarium.com. Gulf Coast Aquarium, where it's more than just a tank.
In Panama City, we say shop local. And now you can at the Local Cafe. The Local Cafe is a new restaurant run by locals. Open 7 days a week, starting with breakfast at 7. Try the 2-2-2 for breakfast. 2 eggs, 2 pancakes, and 2 sausage patties. The best home cooking, like country fried steak, grilled pork chops, meatloaf, Salisbury steak, and many other delicious dishes. Plus the best homemade cakes and pies. The Local Cafe, 23rd Street, near Home Depot.
The Coach James Hale Show is live and local from the J. Michaels studio.
They got something that money couldn't buy.
I was noticing when you come down the stairs that you've got pretty legs.
All right, I'll tell you a story without a happy ending. Y'all following this?
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's Wednesday. That means it's Bay Day. Let's bring him on, the legendary coach at Bay High School, Coach Hudson. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, guys. How y'all doing this morning?
How is the rebuilding doing at Bay High School? How's it going over there?
And I tell you what, I'm pretty proud of how we're playing baseball over here. We've come a pretty good ways, I can tell you that. To be disappointed in a game last night with Arnold, where their program is just at a little different level is so far. This year they're just a little different level than we are. But to be disappointed, that just shows you the expectations that we've already developed over here because we had a tough one last night.
All right, let's talk. I know Arnold's playing really well. We had Coach Jones on, and he told us that they're peaking pretty good. They're playing really good baseball right now. I think they won all their games in that tournament they had from teams all over the South, and you guys played them yesterday. Tell us what happened and who played well and how everything went down.
Yeah, keep up with everybody, and I noticed where they really started playing well last week. They had 4 games, 2 against really, really good teams, and you could see they were starting to swing the bat. Cooper Moss is not going to – he's going to swing the bat. You're not going to hold Cooper down for 25 games of a season, and I saw where he started getting his bat going, and several of the other guys, the guys in the bottom half of the lineup, and so we knew they were playing well going in, and we started a left-hander, Kyle Wilson, who's been – probably our best guy throughout the entire year on the mound for us. And he went out 3 strikes, challenged them, tried to mix it up a little bit with them. But, it was one of those nights where I think they had 14 hits and not all off of Kyle, but, it's just one of those days. They kind of sprayed the ball around everywhere on us. They got a lead. We had a guy thrown out at second on a steal in the second inning after Cooper hit a home run, and we had him out, and then he just kicks the ball out of the mitt, for the third out of the inning, and the next thing you know, they go single, and they score 4 runs instead of 1. It just seems like we have to give up 1 extra out. It just seems to kill us every time. But we played hard. We had a had an opportunity to finally score. Eli was awesome on the mound last night. I got to say, I think he threw 80% strikes. I think it was maybe 75 pitches he threw and finished the entire game. And he was really good. Threw hard, threw the ball, located, mixed it up, and did a really, really good job on us. And, like I said, we just had one of those nights. We get a double down the left field line, and we finally get a chance to score a run. Got second and third with 2 outs, and our guy misses third base on the way around. So he's out, take the run off the board, and a possible opportunity to maybe get something going on Eli. But, we had 7 hits off of him. We swung the bat well. I think we had 3 innings where we had 2 hit innings, but just couldn't get something across. He didn't walk a hitter. So he didn't help us at all to try to get some base runners out. So, between Eli throwing the ball and them spraying it around and getting hits throughout their lineup, it was just not a night that was in the cards for us last night.
Well, you go from here, put this one behind you, get ready for the next one. Who you got next up?
Yeah, we go to Gadsden County today. We were supposed to play tomorrow, but we've moved it up for the weather, and hopefully we'll dodge some of this little rain now. They're saying there's a chance of rain today, but we're going to head out to Gadsden today and hopefully continue this momentum we've had. We've won 3 of our, I think, the last 5 going into last night's game, and 2 one-run losses were the 2 losses, and really had a good game last Thursday where we threw Trace Brooks, and he threw very well for us, probably his best of the year. We've got some guys starting to play ball. Jacob Pascoe starting to throw the ball well on the mound, and Trace threw well Thursday against a team from Kentucky who had a kid on the mound who was about 85 to 87. And we worked him around and got him out of there. And I thought we had to come back from a 4-0 deficit there. And so I'm seeing a lot of fight. I'm seeing the guys have some confidence in themselves that they can through 7 innings, we're going to be a tough out in most games.
Well, give us a little scout report. East Gas, I don't know much about them. How are they doing this year in baseball?
Well, I'll tell you, they came over to our place. First time I've ever seen them. We never played them. My teams have never played Gaston, and they came over here, and I was looking for the football. I was wondering, there's a bunch of big kids out there that look like they just took the pads off, and they were a big group of kids too. They look like a football team, and they came out and just looked like they had been playing football. They were tight and that kind of thing. Yeah. But they had about 4 or 5 kids you could tell have played baseball before.
Yeah.
And so we played them early in the year. So now I'm seeing that they're starting to play a lot better. I know some of the umpires, they played Rutherford last week, or I think it was, or somebody around town. And the umpire said those guys are starting to swing the bat. They've got bat speed. They've got it all. And now they've had some games under their belt and a little experience there. They've got a couple kids on the mound that are starting to throw the ball. One of them was really good the last time we played them. He just didn't have a breaking ball. And so I would expect that they're going to be a little different team than we faced earlier this year when we run ruled them earlier in the year. But from what I'm hearing, they're swinging the bat, and they've got a bunch of team speed. They put the ball in play, they can cause you some problems.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to ask you about their team speed. When you play a team like that, are you more aggressive at a team like that? I mean, you going to steal, you going to get after them, or how do you go against a team like that?
Yeah, well, first thing you want to make sure you're throwing strikes. We want to try to throw somebody who's going to be a strike thrower. We can't give them free bases. We got to make them hit their way on, because when they get on first, they're ready to get second base right now. They're hard to stop once they get on the bases and start running. So that's the main thing on those guys, is to do that. And then, of course, again, offensively, you just take what they give. You don't know what you're going to get any certain day. Last time we played them, they threw a different guy every inning. I think just because their arms weren't maybe quite in shape. Yeah. But they're 2 of the guys they threw, you can tell once they get their arm in shape, those guys are going to be pretty good pitchers for them. So that's what we're expecting, to have a little more seasoned team with a little more experience under their belt.
Just remember that number 3 batter. He hit a long one out there. So, that big old guy came up third, batting third. I don't come up with his name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he's a big football player, too. I think he's the quarterback on the football team.
Yeah, so.
All right, after this one, what do you got after Gaston? Who you got next after that?
Well, after that, we play Saturday. We are heading over to Mosley. We've got Mosley at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon.
All right, Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock, and the weather's supposed to be nice. What's that going to be like for you? Going where you've won a state championship, it's got to be, you know, you can say it's not, but it's got to be in the back of your mind. So, I mean, just give us a little idea what that's like. I know you kind of block out the past.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to getting back and, seeing the guys, seeing those guys over there that I coached. You know, it's going to be fun to see them. I have no contact with them since I left. You know, you don't want to do anything like that since I'm coaching at Bay now. But it'll be good to see the players over there. So, that's why I'm looking forward to seeing those guys. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing them, and I'm really looking forward to us getting out there and putting our best foot forward too, and having a good Saturday afternoon over there. So that's, looking forward to seeing the players.
Now, you've been there. You haven't been there 1 year yet at Bay, but I can hear it in your voice. I know you're proud of them. They're getting better and better. Does this group go into a game? Do you ever see like they might be intimidated by another team before they play a game? Have you seen that, or are they over that?
Well, that was our whole issue early in the year. That was the issue. I mean, it didn't matter if we played, a really top-notch team in the state, or if it was one of the bottom teams in the state. We had no confidence that we were going to win the game, and we lost some games. We've lost several this year just because of that. They just didn't think they were, they didn't have the confidence to do it. And now I see us go out. I think we're ready to go. We're ready to play. And even if the first thing doesn't go our way, we haven't just thrown in the towel. I think that was kind of the mentality before, is that if everything didn't go perfect, we're not going to be able to have a chance to stay in a game or compete. And, I think I'm most proud that I know we're getting 7 innings of the best we've got. And that's all you ask for. And like I said, if you play 7 innings as a tough baseball team and play hard for 7 innings, we have the talent. We have enough talent out there right now that, we can compete with anybody, and that we don't have to everything go perfect. So we're looking forward to it, to whoever we play, and we just feel like every game is kind of a big opportunity for us to show who we are this year.
All right. I want, before you get off real quick, we got about a minute, but you had a game last night, you got a game today, and you got one Saturday. How do you handle practice? Do you rest them? Or how do you do this practice? You got 3 games a week.
Well, we're gonna practice. We're gonna get out there and get after it whenever we're not playing. We had a little bit of rain issues the other day, so we just hit the other day, nothing but BP. So, we don't have a ton of pitching depth, but we get out and, I'd like to do as much live pitching as we can, but we've only, we're basically going on 4 pitchers. We lost Eli Knox Brennan. He was really going to start coming on for us on the mound and was our leadoff hitter, and he's been hurt. Hopefully he'll be back soon. But, it's, we get after it with practice time. You kind of read your team, and these guys are ready to go. They're ready to get out on the field. And so nothing changes. They're just looking to get out there and try to improve as much as they can.
All right, Coach Hudson, Bay High School. Thank you so much, Coach. We'll talk to you next Wednesday. Good luck this week. You're with Mosley and Gaston. Thank you, sir.
Good talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, Glenn?
Yes, sir.
I think about Gaston. I think about it, like he said, a lot of football players, a lot of speed, a lot of athletics, a lot of athletic bodies.
They had a lot of team speed, and they had this. I don't know. I guess he said he was a quarterback, but that guy came up there the first time and they hit one like a line shot to the fence. Now they threw him a bunch of junk the next time and he popped it up. But I tell you what, now, but when they would be on first.
They're going to be a lot better this time.
They are,
around.
but when they were on first, buddy, it was like a track meet. Here we go. So
don't let them on first.
We tried a lot of pickoff moves to make sure they stayed close, but they did good. I'm really proud of what he's done from where they started. He started in the fall and had to, negotiate some people to come out, and then the JV teams, we had a couple of the kids that
just his name, him being the coach, he was going to get players to come out there and play for him. He's going to get it back. Well, look at Bay High School now. You did county champs in football. basketball, and now the big three.
Right.
Eventually, he'll have them there.
Yeah, the thing too is we had, I'm wearing a weightlifting shirt, so we had girls weightlifting. That's coming along. He had almost 40 girls out there, and then then now the boys weightlifting, with Coach Hardy and Coach Bailey, and of course Coach Brown is there. But we're just kind of excited about what's going to happen next year. So
I just think it's who the AD is. It's got that program going back over.
Well, it's going to be
who is the AD over there?
It's going to be a new one next year. I
tell you what's new and great. El Rodeo, Tequila Bar and Grill on Thomas Drive, right across from the Navy base. They have happy hour 3 to 7. They got the best lunch specials going. If you love Mexican food, that's one place to go. And tomorrow they'll have karaoke out. It's really good. You have a great time there. Glenn, you going to be there and do a little singing?
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe get you and Jim Brand on stage together. That'd be pretty interesting. But get out there, have a great time. Happy hour, and also you buy one small draft beer, the next one's free. Same thing with margaritas. Same thing with house wines. $5 pitchers. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill. If you get hurt, whatever, you hurt your knee, break something, you get injured. Dr. Chad Mitchell, a legendary doctor, 24 years on Bay County sidelines. Call Chad, make an appointment. He'll take care of you. The guy's incredible. Glenn, if you're going to play golf, where are you going?
I'm going to Bay Point. I was there yesterday, going tomorrow.
You want bingo back? Where are you going to play bingo at?
But he said I don't even show up for bingo. So
it's awesome, man.
Glenn, you need to give a couple of days rest at Bay Point for the trees to get some limbs back.
They're already, well, you saw what happened to the other course over there, the Meadows course. I tore them all down, so.
You did.
Yeah, but they did have a guy from the Sierra Club ride with me, so if they're going to write me a citation for him.
Get out to Bay Point, have a great time. Ron Mulvey, you've been here Friday.
Yep.
Also, don't forget about Rudy's Barbecue on Bat Beach Road.
Oh, man.
The best barbecue, the best turkey you'll get anywhere. Ethan Boyd.
Their Boston butts are unbelievable.
Their balls, yeah. I guess
let me tell you
butts.
what, when you get those, man, that's
everything there is great.
Yep.
Go try it. We think you'll love it. We'll be right back. Glenn Manley, Big Brian, and the Wildcat himself behind the glass. 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and staff meteorologist Tim Root for up-to-the-minute weather reports all day long.
Moving northwestward into the Gulf of Mexico by the weekend.
In-depth storm coverage.
Gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour.
And breaking weather as it happens.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Sykes Concrete has been in business in this area since 1947, and 3 generations later, they're still going strong. See Sykes Concrete for dirt, sand, rock, and concrete. They can handle any size job from the smallest to the largest. Sykes Concrete pays CDL truck drivers some of the highest wages in Bay County, making $50,000 to $75,000 a year, including holiday and vacation pay, plus health insurance. See Hugh Sykes at Sykes Concrete, 8030 Highway 77 on the right, just north of Southport Elementary School.
By now, you've heard us talking about Tiger TV Pro. Hi, David Hayes from the Afternoon Underdogs, here to remind you about this incredible streaming service with over 6,000 premium channels. And the cost, you ask? $15 a month. Yes, only $15 a month. Every sports channel is available, including the ACC and SEC Network, the NFL, NBA, MLB, HBO, Showtime, and thousands more. For more info, go to our website at espnpc.com. Scroll down and click the Tiger logo.
Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, this is Tim.
Do y'all sell bait?
Yes, we seasonally stock live shrimp, live bull minnows, live sand fleas, live fiddler crabs, earthworms, night crawlers, crickets. We also stock frozen shrimp, sand fleas, mullets, squid, pre-rigged ballyhoo, bonita, stingray, cigar minnows, Boston mackerel, Spanish mackerel, and a few other miscellaneous baits. It's worth the drive to buy premium locally sourced bait from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
I'd like to introduce.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
Milk was a bad choice.
If I could just have your attention.
60% of the time, it works. Every time.
If anyone wants to switch jobs, let me know.
Live from the J. Michael Studio.
I have many leather-bound books.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo!
boy, getting a lot of love. That football team get a lot of love. What do you got for us today, Glenn?
Well, let's start off with a little softball. I'm kind of impressed with the softball team. They're 32-7, and they're 11-1 in the ACC. They're ranked number 4 in the nation. Excuse me. And here's number 1, Oklahoma. That's who we played. Number 2, UCLA. We actually beat them. Oklahoma State, number 3. And FSU's number 4. So we are right there where we need to be. And she's been pitching a lot of different people just to get them some experience, because as you get down the end of the line, you get into the National Championship Series stuff. You got to have them. And I'm sure they'll be a regional host again because they're number 4 in the nation. So, well, congratulations to them. This is kind of unique, though. You don't see this more often. They play Jacksonville tonight at home. Then Friday and Saturday, they play University of Virginia. They play University of Virginia Saturday at 12 o'clock. Then they travel to North Carolina State to play a night game. Then they come back and play Virginia Sunday. Excuse me, I got the coffees today. But I thought that was kind of unique. Okay, you play a game Friday night, you play a game Saturday morning, but I don't know how they're going to get to North Carolina State, probably fly. Then you come back and play Virginia again on Sunday.
That's crazy.
It is, but you know what? I don't know.
Tell you what, though, they got their team's good.
They are. Now, let's flip the switch, and you go to baseball. And so baseball is 13-18. They're 4-11 in the ACC. They will play at North Carolina State Friday, Saturday. And so hopefully, they'll get over this and get back into the thing. I don't know if they're going to make the tournament, because you have to win so many games to be in that. I think they have the top 8 or something like that.
Right.
So we'll see what goes on with that. And so
they still got time. They could do it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
You were talking about that travel, made me think.
Right.
You ever think that you save money if they went and did double hitters instead of these 3 days, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Right.
What if they went and played? We're going to play a double hitter on Saturday. We're going to come play Friday, double hitter on Saturday, no games on Sunday. Would that not save them money, hotel, travel?
Yeah, but you don't know how much money they generate when they do that, because now if you watch the game, it's packed. I mean, you can't.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
Anyway, and then you also, I'm sure when you go somewhere, being the number 4 team in the nation, you draw some people into.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I'm trying not to cough, but I can't help it. All right, now football, which is this is kind of unique. Offensive lineman Dimitri Emanuel gets granted his 7th year of eligibility.
Hey, I went to college for 7 years.
Yeah, but that was a different thing.
Oh, that's
So anyway,
you grant eligibility, academic eligibility.
He played at University of Charlotte. He played in 2017. He was redshirted he played in 2016. He was redshirted in 2017, and he missed all of 2018. And so he had 13 starts last year for us. So
Well, he got a COVID year, too,
Had a
right?
COVID year. Yeah, he had a COVID year. Then he was redshirted 1 year.
That's crazy.
And so now, they've granted him the extra year. So that really makes us have really depth in the offensive line.
That must be an NCAA record. It has to be.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. So anyway, and so then he played, where he played? He played 21 and 22 season the 20 and 21 season for them. So it's pretty neat. And then the ESPN ranks Jordan the number 5 quarterback in the nation in the top 10.
Yeah.
So
he definitely is.
And so
he got a shot at the Heisman, man.
He does.
They got a shot at making a playoff. They're getting a lot of national love. All these
excited
magazines.
about what they have, and so they predict Florida State in preseason to be number 7 in the nation. So that'll be good. And there's 3 things that they've kind of come out, 3 key storylines that's come out of the spring practice, the final spring practice. Does FSU freshmen do they end up playing a big part in the season, or they need to come out and shine and say they're ready to play, or they'll maybe be redshirted, things like that. Now, the other thing is, do we have a real place kicker? There's going to be a challenge for that. Ryan Fitzgerald's kind of been okay, but I noticed last year he changed his stance a little bit the last part of the year, so he's been kicking more true and more, things like that. But there's another guy named Tyler Kittner that's there too, so they've been going back and forth. And I can't talk too much without going crazy here. And then the other thing is, how does Emmanuel coming back, how does that affect the O-line rotation? And they're going to have a lot of depth for the first time. I think they have 2 complete lines. And so we're trying to work some of those freshmen in too. So that's kind of what's going on. And I think this weekend is the spring game. And
yeah. If you're good up front on both sides, that's what I'm talking about. Separates George from everybody else. They are so good up in the middle, offense and defensive line. And I didn't know that about the offense line. I knew the defense line was really deep. I didn't know the offense line.
Yeah, they just got with this kind of coming back, and they had a lot of playing experience last year with people having to move around. But if you notice last year, the line was a lot more solid than it had been in a couple of years. Yeah. So now they're really hyping it up this year, so they're really excited about the O-line, D-line.
Have you heard anything about the running back position, who's doing a really good job through spring?
Well, of course, Benson is there, and then the other guy, Tafello, and then also C.J. Campbell from Bay High is in there. So they're looking for him to do good things, too.
That's the reason I asked that question.
Yeah,
get that there for you.
But they also, thank you for leading me into that, but they're also got some freshmen coming in that they're really proud of, so we'll see.
All right, looking forward to the FSU football season. Hey, but think about it. Football was pretty good last year. Did better than people thought.
Yep.
He won 10 football games. Then Florida State basketball is down.
Right.
Baseball now is down.
Right.
You look at Florida Gators, football is down.
Right.
Basketball's down. Baseball's up. Miami.
Softball's up.
Miami basketball was good.
Right.
Everything else. How's Miami doing in baseball?
I think they're up there, doing pretty good.
Pretty good.
When you go back to Coach Hamilton and those guys, but here's the thing that happens. In 2 years in a row, he brought that freshman in, the point guard, who left after 1 year, became the NBA Rookie of the Year. All right, so then you had some people injured, and then you had 4 guys that were coming back. They went to the NBA, and so that depletes your starting lineup. So you're basically playing with all freshmen, that need game experience. Now, not that they're not talented, but when you play the Dukes and the North Carolinas of the world with younger players, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And so everybody was going, well, Coach Hamilton's reached his limit. Well, no, that's not necessarily true. You got to know all the things that go with it. And they've had a good year of getting people out of the portal, and also get.
I think he better have a good year next year.
Yeah, but
don't you think?
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing: you can't be on top every year. The year we had the COVID and they couldn't play, that was the year that I think they would have won the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
So because they had run through the ACC pretty well in basketball.
All right, our update today brought to you by Dr. Glenn Manley about FSU
and Newbies.
Yeah. 3 great locations. What's your favorite?
Mine is the Booze and Brew, baby.
Yeah, but you don't hit much of the brew.
But see, it's a combination. You don't necessarily have to drink the coffee. Unless you put a little Bailey's in it.
There's nothing wrong with the coffee. When Glenn wakes up on the floor, that's what he needs.
That's right.
Yeah, well, he hits the other stuff first, then he hits the coffee before he leaves. That's pretty smart.
That's called the Booze and Brew.
Yeah, pretty sharp.
Yeah.
Now, newbies still in the curves watch all sporting events. The motherships where you're going to go, everybody's going to wind up there. There's no doubt about that. But I really appreciate John Sharp. Wonderful people. John's had some back issues.
Right.
Doing better. Everybody's been praying for him. Everything went pretty well. Recovery, like anything, takes time.
Right.
I know it's killing him because he can't work out. He can't play racquetball right now. He's going to have to take it easy for a while, but he's doing better. And thankfully, him and Charlotte's done a little bit of traveling before they had this thing happen to him. So that's a good thing. He'll be back. He's a great guy. Get down to Newbie Some Coaching. You're wonderful people down there. Hey, Blue Sky Express Car Wash on Bat Beach Road. Blizz, that place is incredible.
It is unbelievable. And they're building a new one, too, up in town.
Yes, sir, baby. They'll be everywhere eventually because once you go there, you're going to go every single time. And sometimes you go there, it's so packed out. So you got to be hit. It's hit and miss. You get there when certain times it's really good. But after it's been raining a couple days and it's sunny the next, you might have to wait a little while.
Yeah, the other thing, too, is it'd be a good place to go to with all the cars on the road now. Woo-wee.
Get out to Blue Sky Express Car Wash. They do an incredible job. You will love it. It's right there off. What I do, I always go down and head towards Bad Beach Road, like I'm going to Pier Park. I take a right on Elf Coleman, take another right, and I'm right there at the back end of it.
It's the easiest way to get to it. Yep.
Go ahead and have a great time. Also, Dr. Ward, we will not have him today. He's out of town. He's in a meeting. So
probably out of the country again.
Yeah, he flies everywhere. I think he's probably with the governor somewhere traveling.
Right.
But anyway, Dr. Ward does a great job. We're talking about skin cancer. 1 in 5 develop it. It can be deadly. Don't play around. 5 minutes can save your life. And their offices throughout Northwest Florida. Max Fit Sports Nutrition. I went there yesterday and bought some Immune. Got everything in it. That's all you really need. Buy that, and you're in pretty good shape. Jason Kovaleski will be in here Friday. Can't wait to talk to him. And we'll be right back with Glenn, Brian, and Wildcat.
Wildcat, yeah.
Be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Who more to blame for the Mavericks' struggles? Mark Cuban, Jason Kidd, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving.
I would start with the owner because he made the trade. When you talk about a guy who would be perfect for Luka, it's Jalen Brunson because he is a great leader.
It's the Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Wednesday weather forecast. Moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico will be giving us clouds and showers and maybe a thunderstorm today, tonight, and Thursday. Temperatures during the day, mid to upper 70s. Temperatures at night in the mid-60s. Water temperature in the Gulf is 71 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hi folks, I'm Tracy from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Me and my I Do crew have 50 years experience, and we have more certified diamonds in stock at the best prices in town. So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, come see me, your diamond girl, and my I Do crew at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, because we don't work on commissions. We work for smiles and I Do's.
Spring is a wonderful time of the year. It's a new beginning for flowers, butterflies, and countless insects that pollinate and help God's wonderful plant kingdom come to life. That boot store reminds you it can also be a new beginning for you too. On April 9th, we celebrate Easter and a risen Savior. Joe reminds you to keep Jesus in your heart this Easter and always. That boot store open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5, and Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Bill Bird Kia on 15th Street.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Go nuts.
Live from the J. Michael Studio on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I want to get into Big 12, Pac-12. I think the Pac-12 is dead.
Why?
Gone.
You all right, Coach? You want to get into Big 12 and Pac-12?
Yes. I want to talk about it.
All right, let's go.
All right. They have lost USC.
What?
They have lost UCLA. They lost the market, the LA market, which is unbelievable. The TV contract they keep talking about is going to happen late spring. It's going to happen early summer. They're going to have an issue with that. They're not going to make the kind of money the other conferences are going to make whatsoever. Colorado, I love Deion Sanders. I am now a big Deion Sanders fan. They're talking about expansion, so the Big 12 has reached out to Colorado. Colorado, as we know, at one time was in the Big 8. Were they ever in the Big 12? Was it called the Big 12 when they were in there before? I should know that because I just did an article on it.
Well, it used to be the Southwest Conference.
Yeah, Colorado was, oh boy.
Well, let me hear. I got it right here. According to New York Post, that insider reporting that the Big 12 has reached out to Colorado to join. Now, we all know they've reached out also to Utah, Arizona State. Those presidents, those three universities have pushed back. Not much said from Colorado. But think about Deion. His son played high school football in Texas.
Right.
He played in Texas. He's known well there. If you get out of that league, get back into the Big 12. I think the Big 12's a better deal. You got TCU that's played for a national championship. Had Kansas State played in the Sugar Bowl as a conference champs. Right. And then you got UCF coming in. You got Cincinnati coming in. BYU. Who's the other one? Houston. So that's your 4 new members. Mm-hmm. They're being aggressive. I like their commissioner. I think he's done a good job because everybody said that's dead, gone with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. They're reached out to other programs. If they can bring Colorado in, it's going to be a big boost for them. Their TV deal is going to be so much better than the Pac-12.
Right.
If I'm Deion, do you want to play in the Pac-12 where the games might be a little bit easier, but where you're located, where the school's located, where you used to play those schools when you were in the Big 8, when you were in the South, whatever that conference was called, you bring back those rivalries, and it's a lot easier to travel. But the big deal, now you can recruit a lot more in the great state of Texas.
Right.
Play in Central Florida every other year in the state of Florida. That brings you into Florida. Everybody knows him in Florida.
Right.
I just think Deion's going to pull. I could be totally wrong on this, but Glenn, I think Deion is going to talk to their AD and everybody. I think he's going to be for them leaving the Pac-12 and joining the Big 12.
Right.
What's your thought on that? What would you do?
I think, well, for all the reasons you said, does he want to start out where he's got an easier run so he can build up some wins and build up the recruiting area? Because if you go to California and play, you can get some kids from California. But I just think that the better deal as far as the play is concerned would be in the Big 12.
Yeah, I'm with you because seriously, in California, they really don't care about sports. Like they don't get big attendance out there. Their schools are still in the Pac-12, and now they were in the Big 12 before. They were in the Big 12 from 1996 to 2010. They had 7 winning seasons. Now they go out the Pac-12. I think they've been there 8. I can't remember how many years it's been now, but I don't think have they even had a winning season. Have they had a winning season in the Pac-12? Maybe one.
Who? I don't know.
Colorado. They've had one winning season in the Big 12.
Well, it was a couple of years ago. They started 6-0 and lost their last 6.
They were 2016. They were 10-4.
Yeah,
that's when they had the last winning season, 2016, since they joined the Pac-12. How can you compete in where they're located at? Doesn't make sense. It's kind of like West Virginia in the Pac-12, Big 12.
Yeah.
So I think it's a no-brainer. I would leave in a heartbeat. That's just me. I would come into the Big 12 and recruit the heck out of Texas. How he's going to recruit in the great state of Texas. All those football players there, Texas and Oklahoma, and A&M can only get so many.
Right.
He can get in there and get those players to come in there. Comes down to Florida. Everybody knows him in the state of Florida, and you're going to play here in the state of Florida.
Right.
So I think it's a no-brainer. I would do it. I think it will happen eventually. I really do. Now, they really want, though, they call it the 4 corners. They want Utah, they want Arizona State, and they get Colorado. Then that really is a legit conference now.
Yep. Yeah,
I like it. Brian, what do you think's going to happen with that?
I really don't know. I'm still a little worried about the ACC, to be honest with you, in this whole deal. I think the Big 12 has positioned itself beautifully amongst the 3 remaining power conferences. I don't know. The old days of the Big 8 where Colorado, Nebraska, Oklahoma were just tearing it up, kind of gone. There's got to be something out west, though. There just has to be. I can't imagine an area with that many schools and that big a geographic region, they'll all just couple themselves into Eastern Conference. I just don't think so. So something will happen. If they're smart, they'll position themselves into the streaming sphere and get ahead of everybody else. They'll go with Amazon or somebody like that with their deal.
You still have the Mountain East and the Mountain West. That could build up.
Well, you still got USC and UCLA, but they're going to be in the Big Ten.
Right.
That's the deal.
That's what I mean. I don't think the rest of those schools are going to be able to make that run across country and do all that. I think there's actually an opportunity there to build something on the West Coast, but they need to be very innovative and ahead of the game. That's why I think the streaming move would be big for them.
Another reason I think, too, Colorado should go back. Heck, when it was the Big 8, they won a national championship in 1990 there. They had their most success when they were playing that region of the country. I think it's a no-brainer. You can actually get in your car and drive and watch your team play.
Right.
They can't do that now in the Pac-12. You got it takes forever to get to California from Colorado.
Right.
That's a long drive. You have to fly.
And if you got an electric car, you got to charge it up before you go over the mountains.
That's true.
Might get robbed while you're there. But anyway, I think it's a done deal. I think they'll do it if they can. That's just me. I could be completely wrong on that. But another reason I think they should do it, we all know the Big Ten's still looking, and eventually I think Oregon and Washington leaves and goes to the Big Ten. And when that happens, it's dead, buried, and gone.
Yeah.
So I really think the Pac-12, that's the reason they can't get a TV deal right now. Who wants to go invest big-time money with that inventory? There's none.
Right.
If Oregon pulls out, Washington pulls out, that's the two big ones now left.
Right.
I think they're dead. Dead man walking. Dead man walking.
Well, you don't know how the presidents are going to react. That's the problem.
Let me ask you this. Let's say that happens. Mm-hmm. They were all talking about eventually we're going to get this Super League and it's going to be like the NFL, stuff like the NFL, which I think is going to happen because of transferring and everything else. I think they're going to hire their players by the university. That way they can't transfer out. They have to honor that contract. It'll probably be 1 year only. But he brought up a great point. The ACC. All of a sudden, the ACC loses FSU to the SEC.
Right.
They lose North Carolina to the SEC or the Big Ten, and then Clemson to the SEC. Yeah. What happens to that league then? Miami might go to the Big Ten one day.
Right.
And Miami really hadn't been a factor anyway, except for basketball.
Right.
What happens to the ACC then? Then you have the West Coast and the ACC. Both those two are on life support.
Right. And the logistics is not across, all the way across the country. It's one thing that we have to go to Syracuse, but it's another thing if you have to go all the way to California.
Yeah, I kind of think the Big 12 might pass the ACC. I know that sounds crazy, but if they get these other 4 teams in there, I don't know.
Well, again, if you take Clemson and FSU out, the 2 draw, in North Carolina, the 3 draws, it could be tough.
Yeah, they've been talking about the Big Ten. They want these big, huge markets, and the Miami area, it would be pretty nice for them to get that. And it wouldn't be bad at all for Miami either. Right. The amount of money they would make there. Them in the SEC, do we need them in the SEC? We already have the TV market down in South Florida with Florida State and Florida being in the SEC.
Right.
If Florida State comes in, I don't know if we need them.
Right. Well, logistically though, they're so far away from everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough that you go to Orlando, and in that area, and in Tampa area where you got the 2 universities there.
Well, look at South Florida. Everybody goes in there, recruits the player. Alabama gets them. Georgia gets them.
Right.
Ohio State gets them. So if I'm the Big Ten, I definitely want Miami because our teams now will be playing down there.
That's correct.
Get those kids to come play for them. So it's going to be interesting. The next 5 to 10 years in college football. We got to ask China what they're going to let us do when they take over. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out.
Well, they already control the NBA, so
Thank you very much. All right, real quick, Tennessee, the great state of Tennessee. 2023 football ticket sales soar past the gold. You go 11-2, you win the Orange Bowl, you beat Alabama at home, you beat the Florida Gators, good things happen. They have sold over 70,000 preseason tickets. 70,000. Their goal was if we can get to 61,000, that's going to be incredible. 70,000 so far. And they're still selling.
That's correct.
Wow. Winning helps, doesn't it, Glenn?
It does.
Did it help you guys at Bay when y'all started winning football games?
It just all the evils go away when you're winning.
That's what she said. That's what she said. All right, we get back. We'll talk a little bit Bama. Then we got at 8:30 everything you want to know about from Mark McLeod. Can't wait to get him on the phone. Talking about the Florida Gators. Thursday night they've got their spring football game. A lot going on. If we get time today, we might talk a little bit about Lane Kiffin. A little bit about
just a little bit. You can talk all day.
All right. Let's talk about some of our great people, Glenn.
All right.
You know all these wonderful people. I tell you what, you want that Glenn Manley field at Bay High School to look great. Do what they do. Turf Pro Pest Control, #1, not even close. They can make your yard look like a golf course. If you have problems with weeds, insects, you name it, you got a problem, Turf Pro, Pest Control is the answer. Patrick and his team do a great job. Give them a call. They'll come out and solve all issues. Turf Pro, Pest Control, number one. Paparazzi Gourmet Deli.
Oh, man. Woo.
Great pizza, 3 restaurants in one. The only thing about it, don't take Glenn Manley with you. The food is incredible. The pizza, you won't get a better pizza. What do you think it is? The crust?
I think it's a crust, but I think it's the way they cook it on that stone.
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
But the desserts, oh my goodness. Bread pudding, banana pudding. They got the paradise cake. They got the coconut cake. The paradise and the Napoleon are really two of my favorites. Get down there and try it. You love it. John's a retired police officer. That's got a great crew down there. They're always packed out. Go down to Paparazzi Gourmet Deli on Thomas Drive. I think you'll love it. Also, don't forget about Alabama Update when we get back. You listen to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, 102.1 Mariana, and 101.9 Port St. Joe. Be right back.
My pappy said, son, you're going to drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that hot rod Lincoln.
ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for Mike Greenberg.
The Odell news breaks, and they got Jet fans losing their mind. A, they're upset that they wanted him. B, they're worried that this means that something has gone sideways with Aaron. The first part of that, yes, he would have been a terrific accent piece. He would have been an excellent addition to the Jets, but he was not a necessity. B, this does not in any way mean there's anything going on that we should be worried about with Aaron.
Greeny. Weekdays 2 to 4 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Wednesday weather forecast. Moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico will be giving us clouds and showers and maybe a thunderstorm today, tonight, and Thursday. Temperatures during the day, mid to upper 70s. Temperatures at night in the mid 60s. Water temperature in the Gulf is 71 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Sykes Concrete has been in business in this area since 1947, and 3 generations later, they're still going strong. See Sykes Concrete for dirt, sand, rock, and concrete. They can handle any size job from the smallest to the largest. Sykes Concrete pays CDL truck drivers some of the highest wages in Bay County, making $50,000 to $75,000 a year, including holiday and vacation pay, plus health insurance. See Hugh Sykes at Sykes Concrete, 8030 Highway 77 on the right, just north of Southport Elementary School.
WJSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WFLQ Port St. John, powered by Pepsi, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs, with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5, and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
The #1 SEC call-in show is now twice as big. It's double the Paul Feinbaum Show. Weeknights starting at 6.
Okay, but also go faster.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Roll Tide, roll. I say Alla, you say Bama. Allen. I say roll, you say Tide. Roll Tide.
You know, the Tide thing makes me think I got to pick up some detergent on the way home. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you do pick something. I thought I smelled something a minute ago. I wasn't sure. You interrupted my. You say I say Bear, you say Brian.
Oh, I can do that.
All right. Alabama Updates brought to you by Stevenson Air Conditioning, #1 at everything they do. The only thing you actually purchase that pays for itself, Stevenson Air Conditioning. Locals. Excuse me. Locals taking care of locals. I think I'm getting me sick.
I know it.
You got me the bug. All right, what's going on at the University of Alabama? Quite a bit. But this is a little bit different. Drew Sanders was a great football player. I believe he was a 5-star. Played at Bama, then he transferred out and goes to Arkansas. They interviewed him, and here's what he had to say. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you that. Can you hold it for me? Thank you, sir. Trey Sanders.
Family show, could.
Was asked about his experience playing for Nick Saban at the University of Alabama and what it was like to play for Sam Pittman at Arkansas.
Totally different experience.
Do you think he said anything negative about either one?
No.
Okay. Here's what he had to say. Loved playing for both head coaches. Loved it. Loved both of them. Saban has his own way of coaching, his own style. He's going to get after you. He'll chew your ear out once in a while. He'll get after you pretty bad. Now, Coach Pittman, he does the same thing. He'll get after you, but the difference, he wants to be your friend. He's always around you. Wants to be your buddy, wants to be your friend. But I love both of them. I would run through a wall for either one of those coaches. They're both outstanding football coaches. Nick doesn't care about being your buddy.
No.
He's trying to make you be the best you can be.
Right. But that's probably the way he was coached.
Yeah, it is. Well, his daddy was.
Right. But I'm saying, though, that's usually how you coach.
Yeah. Now, Sam Pittman, I can see that with him, too. He's a player's coach. They love him.
Well, he's a lineman, too, right?
Yeah. And that's
a lot different, yeah.
Well, but he's also trying to build something, too. He's not firmly established yet.
Right,
so he's trying to make sure that he's keeping people around and they're enjoying it and having a good time. And
well, I want to ask you, that's what I was leading to. Do you think now, because of NIL, do you see these guys changing it? They're going to have to, to some degree. They're going to have to. They got to change their style a little bit. When them players think, hey, he's my friend, he loves me, and I love him, it's hard to leave. When you're all business, and I love him, but he ain't my buddy. You know what I'm saying? But the NIL has changed. Not the NIL, but the transfer deals changed everything.
But here's the thing. If you treat them like you're supposed to be treated, that's the way it is on the outside. When you leave somewhere and go somewhere else, they don't care about your self-esteem. They want to make sure they get the best product out of you that they can, and it helps you in real life.
Well, so you're 74 years old. You remember the old America. The new America, they just give you stuff. You go to college, you don't want to pay it back, they pay you back.
I had to earn everything I got.
Yeah, well, that's changed. So, the world has changed.
Especially playing sports, I had to earn my position.
Yeah. I don't care about if a coach is my friend.
Right.
I care if he cares about me. Is he going to work me hard? Is he trying to make me the best I can be?
Yeah.
How were you as a coach? Were you pretty hard on him?
Yeah, but I remember having this conversation with an assistant coach I had one time, and he said, I don't get it. He says, you yell at them way more than I do, but they all think that I'm mean and this and the other. I said, well, it's simple. I said, you see when I'm getting on them and I'm riling them up and this and the other. What you don't see is 2 minutes later when I pull them aside and let them know why I'm doing that.
Right.
And I said, so there is a part to that. If a kid knows why you're pushing them, you can push them as hard as anything in the world, and it'll be fine. If they think you're just taking out your rotten day on them, then they won't play for you.
That's what Glenn did to us. He always took that rotten day on me.
But I think that's a very important distinction, and both of you guys know it very well. I think it's that. But by the same token, it can be rough as a kid because you're not a fully formed adult yet to understand those differences. That's why I think it's important to do it. There are a lot of players who play for Nick Saban. They don't want to be Saban's friend either. They've got in their mind, they want to get to the NFL. They know this guy can get me there. They don't care to be his friend either. But for some kids, that's just too miserable an existence. Everything has been easy and fun.
But if you see him sometimes off camera, he does have a relationship.
He does.
Yeah.
And so then you can put rules on him if you have a relationship with him. But the thing, too, is what we used to do is you can ride somebody all day, but when you go in that locker room, you got to get a pat on the back before they go home because that may be the nicest thing anybody does for them all day.
That's 100% true. I remember watching when Tua was coming back from his ankle injury. They actually had some exclusive footage of practice and Nick coming out at the beginning like he does. And how we doing today, 13? And all this stuff. And, I'm good. He says, till you can outrun me, you ain't playing. And all like that. But that's exactly what Glenn was talking about. We see Saban losing his mind on the sidelines and all like this, but we don't see those moments where he's truly bringing those guys up. And like I said, if they know why you're getting on them, they'll run through a wall for you.
Well, and he praises them at practice, too, when they do something good.
Well, we used to work the Florida State camps, and then you go over with Mickey Andrews. And, on sidelines, he's spitting out sunflower seeds and screaming and yelling. And during practice, he's on them, big time. But
I've never heard him cuss.
No, I never did. No. But here's the thing. When they go in, as they're walking in, he puts his arm around one of them. So how's your mom and brother?
Yeah.
They do all that stuff, and they know. And those kids, they come tell him.
He played for the Bear.
He did.
And Bear Bear would pat him on the back every once in a while.
Right. And I will say this, as I got older, I became more aware of that, but also society does change.
Right.
And so I think you have to do that maybe more often than you would have had to do in the past. Just by the way people are, it's not a good, it's not a bad, it's just people are different.
Well, what they're saying now, I've talked to all these, I haven't talked to them in a while, but Jeremy Pruitt, Kirby, we got to recruit them. And then when you get them on campus, you kind of continue to recruit them. That's just the fact. Your players. In the old days, you get them there, and then they find out, who is this guy? Well, you were so nice. Who are you now? What is this?
But here's what I mean, too. 40 years ago, almost every interaction you had with an authority figure was that way. It was very cut and dry. It wasn't, it was, nowadays, more of those interactions are more of the friendly. That's why the coaches, I think, have to explain it more now, because a kid was more attuned to that being the dynamic power structure.
Right.
Whereas nowadays in the coaching, when that may be the only structure they get like that, and you do have to explain it better.
All right, Alabama offered a 2024 four-star offensive lineman, Kevin Haywood, following an unofficial visit. And how these people can afford an unofficial visit to Tuscaloosa? I've always wondered that. He's only out of Pennsylvania, but he found his way down to Tuscaloosa.
Spring break.
Yeah, he had a good spring break, and they were impressed with him. 6'7", 290-pounder. He gets an offer from the University of Alabama. He played at John Paul II High School somewhere up in Pennsylvania. His favorite going into the visit before he gets to Bama, his favorite to land would be Penn State. He's been spending a lot of time in Penn State. Up that part of the country, I can see that. Michigan, Tennessee also trying hard to get this young man. Bama does offer him. We'll see if we can beat Penn State out in this 6'7", 290-pound offensive tackle. I don't have time to do this one right now. I'm going to have to do this one tomorrow. The ESPN, their experts came up with 4 teams that have a chance that can beat the mighty Georgia Bulldogs. I'm not sure anybody can beat Georgia. They are brutal. They are the new bullies on town in the nation.
You know what, though? They say, who's the only team that hasn't been invited to the White House?
Georgia. No, they did. They finally got the invitation.
Did they?
They did. They finally did. But I hadn't heard anything about them going yet.
Right. 2 years in a row they won. Well, I haven't seen.
They should be nice to that state. They got that state. The only southern state that actually not get the votes that.
Yeah. Well, the rest of the southern states got together. We voted to kick Georgia out.
Yeah. There you go.
But I just but we can ask 2 teams to come to the White House.
Yeah. Well, the last 2 have been Georgia to win it. So.
Yeah, but I'm talking about basketball now. We got LSU, then they won it.
Well, Iowa said no. Good for them.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another issue.
Thank you for bringing that up, Glenn.
But anyway.
You lead me into this.
Yes.
I like this. Let me talk about our great people. We got to take a break. We get back, we'll talk Auburn, the Auburn Tigers. Andy yesterday had a breakfast function he had to, and he couldn't get out of it to get on with us. So we'll have him next week on here, and next Tuesday, 8:15, Andy Burcham on the Auburn Tigers. Also, don't forget about injuries. We don't worry about injuries. You get hurt, go see Chad Mitchell. Guy's incredible. Legendary doctor. 24 years on Bay County sidelines. You love golf, you're going to go to Bay Point. And if you love barbecue, there's only one place to go. That's Rudy's Barbecue on Back Beach Road. You brought your sister in here from the great state of Tennessee.
Right.
Never had Rudy's Barbecue, and she loved it. She told me, I love it.
Yeah.
She loved the place.
Right.
Beautiful facility.
She almost went to work for him, stayed down here. So
I wish she would have. I tell you what, that is a great facility down there. If you want to have a big banquet, a business meeting, a birthday party, they got the Lorelei Layton back room. It's incredible. Rudy's Barbecue on Back Beach Road. Everybody talks about the barbecue. Try the turkey plate or the turkey sandwich. You will absolutely love it.
All right.
We'll be right back. Glenn Manley, Brian. We get back. We're going to talk about the Auburn Tigers. Will they lose a quarterback? Will Hugh Freeze bring a quarterback in after this ugly performance in the spring football game?
Stay tuned and we'll tell you.
We'll let Glenn Manley answer that question for us when we get back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, 102.1 Mariana, and 101.9 Port St. Joe.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hall & Hearts offers group ride experiences for disadvantaged youth and adults. They're currently seeking sponsors for a fundraising feline field trip to the Bear Creek Feline Center. And your $100 write-off donation will allow a student or an adult to attend. Proceeds benefit the Bear Creek Feline Center. To donate, call 850-588-7515. That's 588-7515.
Wednesday weather forecast. Moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico will be giving us clouds and showers and maybe a thunderstorm today, tonight, and Thursday. Temperatures during the day, mid to upper 70s. Temperatures at night in the mid 60s. Water temperature in the Gulf is 71 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Sykes Concrete has been in business in this area since 1947, and 3 generations later, they're still going strong. See Sykes Concrete for dirt, sand, rock, and concrete. They can handle any size job from the smallest to the largest. Sykes Concrete pays CDL truck drivers some of the highest wages in Bay County, making $50,000 to $75,000 a year, including holiday and vacation pay, plus health insurance. See Hugh Sykes at Sykes Concrete, 8030 Highway 77 on the right, just north of Southport Elementary School. Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
It moves fast. The High School Spotlight. Weekdays at 5:40.
Let's do it.
Sponsored by Barbaritos. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Eagle! Hey! Martha.
Yep.
She was in here the other day.
Yep.
She didn't stay for the Auburn update, though.
Well, she had to get back to the state of Tennessee.
All right, she had to go see her husband. Yeah. All right, let's get into Auburn Tigers. Brought to you by Bay Point Golf. You love golf, so there's only one place to go. That is Bay Point.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, if you had breakfast before you played out there, that's a great deal.
It
a lot
is.
of food.
We usually eat lunch after we get through, and it's, early lunch, but it's fantastic.
Go try their breakfast out. Really good. Bay Point Golf. Ryan and John Warren do a
we
great
won't
job.
bingo, Ryan.
Well, I want to talk about the Auburn Tigers. I do believe they got the right head football coach there. No doubt about that. The last 5 years have not been kind to Auburn.
We're betting on that.
Yeah, I know you are. The terrible decision in the past really hurt them. I do believe the contract extension to Gus Malzahn was something they probably shouldn't have done, even though I thought Gus is an outstanding football coach. But you have to win a certain amount of games at Auburn every single year to keep those folks happy there. I think they have to be patient. I think they have to give Hugh Freeze some time. I still feel pretty good about next year's football team. I don't know why, but I do. You got a brand new offensive line. The defense is going to be pretty good. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to get after people. They're doing a great job in recruiting. They got a good coaching staff. The key is going to come down to quarterback play, and I'll get more into quarterback play in just a second. The other thing that killed them, besides the contract extension with Gus Malzahn, would cost them big-time money, and then was hiring Harsin. I thought Harsin was a good football coach. I think he's dead man walking when he got there because certain group, the big boys, didn't want him. They told the AD, Green, that if you bring him in here, he better win because they didn't want him. That was the AD's decision to bring him in. They wanted somebody else, and they all went on the same page, and it fell apart. Now, the big kick on Harsin was he can't recruit in the SEC. Well, when you're first year there, they want to fire you after the first season. It's kind of hard to recruit anywhere. So I think Auburn people kind of helped certain Auburn fans or boosters hurt them in recruiting because it was after the first couple games. Well, midway through the first season, everybody knew they didn't want him there, or certain people didn't want him there. So that was a mistake bringing him in. We're really not giving an opportunity might have hurt also. But just to say like it is, wasn't very good to hire Harsin. Contract extension for Gus Malzahn was not very smart either. But in reality, they've got to give Hugh Freeze some time. They got to get his players in there, and nobody gives you time anymore because you can go get people off the portable. You can get people to transfer in, so you're on a short lease. Kind of like the same thing with Florida Gators. We'll talk more Mark Cloud about that later. But Glenn, after watching the spring game, negative comments from all these couple sports writers about the way it was played out, the way they even structured it, 24 points for the defense starting out, and if you hold the offense to 24 points under, you win, offense wins. But they didn't like that. The quarterback play looked terrible, and it was pretty bad. But the weather was terrible, 50 degrees, raining, windy. But saying all that, TJ Finley, 6'7", 260-pound quarterback, looks like King Kong. He is probably going to – he didn't come out and say it, but just reading between the lines, if they bring in a quarterback in after May, which I think he should, and I think he will, I think Hugh Freeze will bring a quarterback in. He said he wants to sit down and talk to Coach Freeze about it if he does bring somebody in. He said, I want to compete. I believe competing, and competing makes us better. And remember, he was the Auburn starting quarterback. He got hurt. Bobby Ashford comes in, does a pretty good job, got better as the season went on, very good athlete, not a very good passer. But Finley, you think back, he took a leave of absence at Auburn last year. He's on pace to graduate, I believe, at the end of this semester. He said you need to have competition. It makes everybody better and all this kind of stuff. He was a 54.7% passer. That's not very good. TJ Finley, 54.7% passer. He passed for 827 yards. He had 6 touchdowns. That was it, 6 touchdowns. Hugh Freeze is known to being developing quarterbacks. But he did say if Coach Freeze adds another quarterback, I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with Coach Freeze. If I'm not the best guy here, I'm going to compete. If I'm not the best guy, I'm going to compete. That's what he said. To me, he's saying, if I'm not the guy, I'm out of here.
Right.
I'm going to go compete somewhere else when I get on the football field. And as a coach, you got to think about this stuff. When you bring in somebody, you're probably going to lose somebody. I'm Hugh Freeze. I watched that performance during the spring. I would bring in a quarterback. If he leaves, he leaves. What do you think about his comments? What do you think Hugh Freeze should do? I would definitely go get a quarterback and bring in at Auburn.
Well, one of the other mistakes you left out is they brought in Bo Nix. I thought he was a great high school player, but I think they put too much on him to start with. And, with the pressure builds when you're not doing what you want to do. I think that was part of the problem, too. And then Harsin inherited all that. Mm-hmm. And then you got the two factions. But this young man right here, I think he is a D2 guy. I don't think he's a Division I quarterback. I just don't. And, not that I'm a great quarterback coach, but when you watch somebody he's not reading who he needs to read. And that could be on the coach or the quarterback coach, but at the same time, you got to be ready. The little clock in your head has to go off. You got to get rid of it, and then don't try to scramble around and do something you can't do. Yeah. So in the SEC, those defensive linemen are very agile. They know how to get there, and they know how to run you down. So that's just my opinion.
Quarterback position, you got to be able to process things like you're talking about. You got to understand what's going on. You got to deliver the football, get it where it needs to be. You don't throw in the coverage. You don't take sacks. And they say Bryce Young, the reason that he might go number 1 overall pick, because he said you can put a bunch of rattlesnakes around him, and he's not going to. His heart rate won't go up. He can sit there and get it done. I've watched Finley. I see him throw the ball on the ground. I see him throw the ball to the wrong receivers when guys are wide open. His reads, he throws it somewhere else. To me, it's kind of the mental thing with him. He's got the physical ability, but he's just not consistent. I'm kind of like you. I don't know if SEC quarterback. I'm right now. I would say no. You're right. He's not an SEC quarterback at all. What do you think, Brian? You think he's going to go?
Honestly, yeah. Because I think he's a guy who feels like he needs to play, and I don't think he's going to be the starter at Auburn. To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure he ever should have left LSU. Now, granted, they've had coaching changes there, but I thought he was playing better at LSU than he played at Auburn.
That's the thing about it. He played.
He did. And look, would he have played over some of the guys that they've had since then? I don't know. Max Johnson was probably going to be the guy, and then, of course, he left and whatever. But I thought he was doing fine at LSU. But, you know, when you up and transfer, it's not just you're learning a whole new system. You could have that if you have a coaching change. Mm-hmm. Everything is different. The whole environment around school is different. And people say that doesn't matter. Yeah, it does when you're that age. So I'll be honest, I never thought he should have left LSU. I think the problem started there. And we've seen enough tape on him. If he had it to be an SEC quarterback, we'd have seen it.
It's not like he didn't have the talent. I mean, he's beautiful out there. And that's where LSU, I mean, he played at LSU.
He's been given good opportunities at both schools. It's not like he hasn't had the chance yet. Nothing against the kid. I just don't think he's an SEC caliber quarterback.
Let's try to be fair and balanced with him. Is it because Auburn was so bad last year? The offensive line was terrible last year. They didn't really have a big-time receiver. They had an NFL running back. But the rest of the team around him wasn't that good last year at Auburn either. Is that some of it? Could we be too critical of this young man?
Well, but you've already listed things that he did not do right that had nothing to do with those things.
Right.
Would he have looked better if the team was better? Every quarterback would.
Yeah.
That being said, there are things you have to do as the quarterback to make your team better, and I'm not sure he did that.
And he really can't run like I thought he could. I watched him,
He's powerful.
Yeah, he's strong.
Back when I played, we had the T formation and all that. We still put a guy in motion to see what kind of defense they're in.
Yeah.
Are they zone or man? And somebody had nothing to do with the play, and if they didn't cover that guy, then we threw it to him. But we're going to be able to read this because remember in the old days when the quarterback came to the line of scrimmage, he had to call out the defense. Mm-hmm. So you had to come out there.
In the old days, they called the plays in the huddle. They didn't have anybody to send the plays
and the speed of the game changes everything. Because at high school, he could probably get away with going through reads instead of he was that much better of an athlete.
Right.
But as the speed of the game picks up, you got to go through your reads quicker. You got to be more decisive,
should have been
quicker.
able to do that in practice.
Should have.
Yeah, but
he just may not have that capability. Yeah, he just may not have that capability at that level. And it always sounds so negative when you say that. I don't either. Right. A lot of people do.
Right. I'm not. Yeah, we're not.
But that's right. Yeah. But that's what separates you from being a quarterback at the SEC. The speed of the game makes you have to process way faster. And I haven't seen that.
You have to know where everybody's supposed to be.
Right.
And he might. Who knows? He might improve so much. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I do too.
But I'm Hugh Freeze. Getting back to Hugh Freeze, I'm bringing a quarterback in. He wants to spread the field out, throw the ball to the field. He's used to having great receivers. He's always had good. When he was winning at Ole Miss, he had unbelievable receivers there. He had good quarterback play, and you got to have them both. Auburn doesn't have great receivers right now. They don't have a great quarterback.
The tough thing is going to be who's out there in May or April who's going to be better than Robbie Ashford. I can't think of anybody.
That's the thing about it. You're right. It's hard to find.
Be one thing in January.
They'll know because they're out there. There's a good backup quarterback that's not going to start one of these bigger schools that can play. It's just finding them. I mean, it might be a guy from the West Coast. It might be somebody from the Big Ten. I don't know, but I know they're out there.
Yeah, they are. Most of them come from Texas because that's where they all run.
Well, we saw a lot of good ones moved in January.
Right.
Well, I don't know there's many left.
You might see this year particularly because you have so many quarterback battles going on. You're going to see some good quarterbacks. It might be the University of Alabama. If Simpson's not the quarterback, does he come out? He can throw a football. You're talking about a passer?
Right.
That kid can throw a football. Milrove, he comes out. There's a dual threat guy.
Right.
We got all these quarterback competitions. I think this year's going to be better to find one than years past. With all these, Ohio State's got a bunch of quarterbacks up there.
Yeah.
They're going to play
this transfer portal, though, it sure made it hard on high school kids to get scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the COVID year has made that hard, too.
Right.
All right, when we get back, we're going to have Mark McLeod in here talking all about Florida football. Spring football games getting ready to happen on a Thursday night. We're going to talk to him also about baseball. They got a great baseball program at Florida. They're winning. Don't they have FSU this week?
Played them last
night. Being 5-3.
Who won the game?
Florida.
Who won the game?
Florida. FSU was ahead 3-0 for the
Bill Allen. Who won that game?
The Florida team won.
That Florida school.
There you
one?
go.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get back and talk to Mark McLeod, get him on the phone, talk to him. But right now, let's talk about some of our great people we have. Blue Sky Express Car Wash. Newbies, get out, newbies, have a great time. Dr. Ward, 1 in 5 develop skin cancer. Doesn't look right, feel right. Go see Dr. Ward. There's an office near you. Throughout Northwest Florida, he's got offices, does a great job. Max Fit Sports Nutrition, Paparazzi Gourmet Deli. We'll be right back, hopefully, with the great Mark McLeod, the local Lynn Haven Flash.
There you
right
go.
back.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents
Wrestling Against Cancer, number 8.
Come see premier professional wrestling with the American Machine, Chief Little Bear, Mr. 850, and exciting women's wrestling with Raven Knight and T-Games. Saturday, April 29th, Wrestling Against Cancer number 8.
Number 8.
At the Bay Haven Charter Academy in Panama City. Doors open at 5:30, bell time 6:30. Proceeds benefit Donna Duncan.
More information, ESPNPC.com.
Hi folks, I'm Tracy from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Me and my I Do crew have 50 years experience, and we have more certified diamonds in stock at the best prices in town. So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, come see me, your diamond girl, and my I Do crew at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, because we don't work on commissions. We work for smiles and I Do's.
Hi, it's Coach James Hale. Keeping your car looking great is easy as 1, 2, 3 at Blue Sky Express Car Wash. By joining their monthly wash club, you'll get the best bang for your buck. And just 2 car washes, your monthly membership pays for itself. Don't miss the summer deal where all your monthly memberships are 50% off on your first month, starting at $9.99 a month. Become a member today at Blue Sky Express Car Wash on Bat Beach Road, right next to Home Depot. Tell them Coach Hale sent you.
Sykes Concrete has been in business in this area since 1947, and 3 generations later, they're still going strong. See Sykes Concrete for dirt, sand, rock, and concrete. They can handle any size job from the smallest to the largest. Sykes Concrete pays CDL truck drivers some of the highest wages in Bay County, making $50,000 to $75,000 a year, including holiday and vacation pay, plus health insurance. See Hugh Sykes at Sykes Concrete, 8030 Highway 77 on the right, just north of Southport Elementary School.
Broadcasting live from the J. Michaels Studios.
The best part of waking up is
The Coach James Hale Show. Powered by Pepsi, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Go Gators! We got him? We got him. Let's bring him
Ghosts
on.
in the walls, too.
Mark, yeah, we do. Mark McLeod. Mark, how you doing this morning?
Hey, doing well, Coach. Good morning. How you guys?
I'm doing great. Do you have a good Easter?
Did. Had a wonderful Easter.
Good. All right, let's get into, before we get into Florida Gators, I got to run this by you and see what you think about this. I don't think you're going to agree with this one. This was voted the best tailgating schools in the country. Number 6, the Florida Gators. Might have been the SEC, I'm sorry. Number 6, the Florida Gators. I thought they'd be higher than that. Let me get around the top 5. Number 5, Tennessee. Number 4, Georgia. Number 3, Alabama. Number 2, I think number 2 should have been number 1. Number 2, LSU. And the best tailgating in the SEC, the Ole Miss Rebels. What do you think about that, Mark? Is Florida too high or too low?
Maybe about right. I think Florida's probably about right. Ole Miss is great. I love going over to Ole Miss. Oxford is just a fabulous place. If you haven't walked the Grove, I mean, you got to get over there for a game and just check it out. It is really something. LSU, fantastic. You get out of the car as a media guy. You got your bag with you. You start to go in, and people are tailgating all around you, which is where they park you at LSU. And guy, hey, come on over here, and then he's handing me a big glass of adult beverage. Let's just say, I can't, guys, I can't do that and go in the press box. Sorry.
Well, I was going to ask if you had the adult dose. I was just checking.
Yeah, and LSU, that's the last place I had a beer in the press box. I mean, they used to LSU's a lot of the places years and years ago they bring out some beer and you'd have beer while you're writing your story. But LSU was the last place I had a beer. That was a few years ago in the press box.
Well, let me ask you this: have you been to Bama? You've been to Tuscaloosa, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now this is the one I want. I know you've been to Knoxville, but what about this one? Have you ever been to Athens?
I have not been to Athens
because
they play in Georgia. They play in Jacksonville. No, I have not been to Athens. That is one SEC stadium I haven't been in.
Yeah, I have not been to Athens either, so I'm not sure how good it is there or not. It's good.
I've been there. Now, they beat us 47-0, so I've tried to blank that game out of my mind. But, it's a wonderful tailgating environment. Athens is a great college town.
Yeah, and if we're number one in the top 6 in the SEC, you're in the top 10 in the nation. I guarantee you that. All right, SEC academic ratings. This one hurts. Number 1. Vandy. Number two, if you got a degree from this university, you are highly intelligent. The Florida Gators.
Yep.
The Harvard of the South, boy.
They're almost like Southern Mississippi. They're almost like that.
I just want to know who number 14 on that list is.
All right,
because I have a feeling I have a paper from them.
Number three, Georgia. I did not know that. Georgia academics. Okay, I thought it'd be Texas A&M. Texas A&M was number 4, and number 5, the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah,
good academic school. Number 6, I'm only going to focus on the top 6. Tennessee. Do you know where Alabama came in?
11.
I did 11th.
I'm looking.
11th.
Who's 14?
The last place, Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Well, I contributed to that. If I hadn't got a degree, maybe they've been 13th.
Well, there was an avalanche of diplomas coming out of there. When you.
What do you think about that, Mark? That's pretty. I think that's pretty well on this one. The only one I thought might be wrong would be A&M. Might have been 3rd in Georgia, but I guess they know what they're doing.
School.
Yeah, and I thought Auburn would be higher. I really did. Auburn's a good school. I mean,
it is.
Engineering and what have you. Engineering and. Veterinarian school. They do some good stuff over there. I really thought Auburn would be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you would say you thought Alabama would be a lot higher. 11th? Are you kidding me?
No, he was thinking 14.
Golly, that's embarrassing. We got a law school. We got doctorates. Man.
Well,
no one have been losing those lawsuits.
Well, apparently they don't value the education of a veterinarian like we get at Mississippi State. But
unbelievable.
And by the way, I got my diploma as a Lifetime Achievement Award.
That's right.
Anyway, I just want to throw that out there. Florida, number 2. Now, really, seriously, I know Florida academics are outstanding. There's no doubt about that. It's hard to get in Florida. I mean, it's hard to get in there.
There's no way I could get in Florida now.
Yeah.
No way.
It's amazing.
No way.
Yeah. Glenn couldn't have got in then.
I couldn't get in 1965, so what's the difference?
Unbelievable. All right. Now we can talk some Florida football and baseball. Right now I want to focus on football. Spring game, Thursday night. Do you like that or not? Spring football game.
I like it. I like it a lot. I don't like the weather. The weather forecast is awful. So it's going to be a tough day, tough night in Gainesville, I think, if the forecasters are correct. But I do like the Thursday night. And Billy explained that to us. We met with Billy the other night before he spoke at one of the Gator clubs. They gave us an opportunity to sit down with him. And he explained it all. He said, look, Easter this weekend coming up, he said, you've got the following weekend, you have, I think, 7 or 8 SEC games alone on Saturday, and then 9 overall. If you're looking at people in the area of the University of Florida, so he said that just makes it tough. And he said, why compete with these guys when if you move it to a Thursday night, then you can, let the kids, he said, and the kids that they've talked to, the recruits they've talked to said, yeah, Thursday night's doable, Coach. It's doable because of our school schedule. We can do that. So they'll come out Thursday night, and then I understand, I think there's a school or two that's doing one on Friday, and then certainly a bunch on Saturday. So he likes it, and he said he thought it went well last year when they did it, and so they're looking forward to it this year. And apparently, he couldn't mention names or anything, but apparently there are a lot of recruits high-profile recruits who said, yes, Coach, we will be there.
So that's what I was thinking. That's what I'm going to ask you next. I would think it'd be tough because the kids have school on Friday. But obviously, they'll miss the school on Friday. It's the only game playing. I get that part of it. And
well, they go to Mississippi State, so that's not a problem.
Fair enough.
That's true. But I guess that way, it'd be easier to get a 5-star guy like, hey, I was going to go to Georgia's game. I was going to go to Alabama's game, whatever. But you're playing Thursday night. I'll come to Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I mean, it's been a good week in recruiting for the Gators overall. He told us that, he couldn't say names, but we knew there was a high profile kid coming in. And then he kind of said, yeah, there are going to be a few more. And he just kind of grinned. And that's really all he could say. He's not allowed to comment on that per NCAA rules. But he's right. I mean, you've seen a few kids map it out. They've got a bunch of other kids they're looking at. Recruiting-wise, guys, it's been a fabulous week for Florida basketball. And there's just a lot of good vibes in Gainesville. The gymnastics team begins tomorrow. They're in Fort Worth right now, and tomorrow begins the NCAA semifinals. So they're going to go for their 4th national championship. If they can find a way to knock off Oklahoma, it's just fantastic.
Speaking of recruiting, they got a pretty good running back out of the great state of Mississippi. I think from West Point, 5'11", 190, Daniels. What was the kid? You remember the kid's first name? I know his last name's Daniels.
Kanan Daniels.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
He talked about. Yeah, he talked about how he fell in love with the coaches. Man, he said it made him feel like home. He went on and on about the coaches. What do you know about him? I know he had 27th rate running back in the nation, rushed for like 2,000 yards last year.
Yeah, exactly. ESPN doesn't do their rankings right now on all that stuff. Not exactly. They've got some out there, but they're about to revise them in about 4 weeks, from what I understand. Rivals, he's a number 8 rated running back in the nation, according to Rivals.com. I think 24/7 Sports definitely has him lower, but a good running back, a good kid, the kind of kid that Napier likes, and we all know Napier wants to run the football. So there you go. You got one in, and of course he's going to join Chauncey Bowens, who's in for Florida from Palm Beach County, and he's another kid who very highly regarded running back. I think On3 has him as the 10th best running back in the country. Rivals had him at number 17. So Billy Napier bringing in a couple of quality running backs.
Well, I like Daniels. He represents the great state of Mississippi, and it shows you how important education there is in Mississippi. He said he will be at the Thursday night spring game, so that means he's missing school Thursday and Friday, so kind of fits in with the Mississippi State last in academics.
Good. Right. And they got Austin Simmons, guys, a 2025 quarterback, kid from down in the muck at Pahokee, and he's for such a young kid, he's already 6'1", 180. Ranked. I think Rivals has him as the 3rd best quarterback prospect in that class of for the 2025 kids, and I think 24/7 Sports had him top 10. I'd 7. I just looked it up. Had to look it up. It's number 7 for 24/7 Sports.
Mark, talk about quarterback position. Is he going to try to get somebody to transfer in that's coming up in May, or what's going to happen? Is Miller going to be the guy? What are we hearing about the quarterback position?
It's an open battle, according to Billy, and we've seen a bit more of Mertz as a starter, but he said that he's been really pleased. He told us he's really been pleased with Miller and how he's come back and competed. He had an awful experience last year, really had some struggles, but he said I think initially there were some issues there with him, trying to get some confidence back, but he has really come on and he's really competing in practice. Personally, I think Florida's got to go get a quarterback coach. I really do. I think there's a guy in the transfer portal after the spring. These spring games are over. You got to bring him in, and you got to bring him in and tell him he can compete. I think they're down there. I think they need an offensive lineman. And now with I don't know if you guys caught it, but you had another one throw his name in the portal this week. We hadn't heard his name at all. David Connor, big offensive tackle out of Atlanta. We haven't heard his name at all. Yeah. So he threw his name in the portal. So it gives you an opportunity to go get another offensive lineman. They could use a wide receiver. And But we could talk about wide receiver when we come back, but there's some really good news about Xavier Henderson, who I talked about last week.
We'll do that. We'll get back. We'll spot that. I want to ask you real quick. I think there are going to be some pretty good quarterbacks out there. There's so many jobs open. Ohio State, Alabama. There's a lot of openings this year in quarterback position. Ole Miss, and he's got 3 good ones there. So I do think this is a year you could probably go get a backup from one of these other schools that got some ability that can play. But my question, real quick for a break, T.J. Finley at Auburn talked about it. If Auburn brings in a transfer quarterback, he's going to sit down and talk to Hugh Freeze about his future. In other words, he's saying he probably won't be there. What happens at Florida if they go bring a quarterback in? Does that mean one of the guys there now are going to bail out?
It could. But, in my opinion, look, from what I've seen out there, so be it.
Yeah.
My question is, okay, Graham Mertz, who's knocking on your door to bring you in? That's going to give you an honest shot to win the number 1 job. Mertz and Miller, they throw some pretty accurate passes, but again, we haven't seen anything deep. We just haven't been wowed out there. I really haven't been wowed. And Max Brown is playing baseball and football, so he's a young fella, redshirt freshman, so still got a long way to go. But he's behind those two. There's no question.
All right, we get back. We're going to ask Mark about the receivers, then we're going to jump in some baseball. Baseball program's outstanding there. But I tell you what, all your real estate needs, do what the big-time realtors do. Mark Cowart, Beth Movey, they all want Chuck Tucker. They all demand South Oak Title and Closing. You should do the same thing. As your deal, as your money. South Oak Title and Closing, number 1, not even close, for all real estate needs. There's offices throughout Northwest Florida, no doubt about that. And today is the world-famous J. Michael Spaghetti today on Wednesdays only. Mark's been there. He loves it. Glenn's there. He gets it all over him. It's unbelievable. Go try it today. We'll be there. Great place, J. Michael's Restaurant. Also, don't forget about Stevenson Air Conditioning. If it breaks down in the middle of the night, call Stevenson Air Conditioning. They'll be able to solve your problems. Locals taking care of locals. A local company, Stevenson Air Conditioning, number 1. We'll be right back. Mark McLeod, Florida Gators, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, 102.1 Mariana, 101.9 Port St. Joe. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hey, this is David from the Afternoon Underdogs. Join me, Miles, Amanda, Kyle, Caveman Rick, AG, and a cast of sports fanatics every Wednesday at Dave & Buster's.
While we were broadcasting the entire show live on location, enjoy half-price games, half-price cocktails, plus win Dave & Buster's game cards and free ESPN swag just for stopping by. Can I say it, David?
Say what?
Sweet.
It is sweet.
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 Wednesday weather forecast. Moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico will be giving us clouds and showers and maybe a thunderstorm today, tonight, and Thursday. Temperatures during the day, mid to upper 70s. Temperatures at night in the mid-60s. Water temperature in the Gulf is 71 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Golf Plus is your premier golf shop on the Gulf Coast. Not a big box or a chain store, but a local store with golf experts to serve you. An amazing array of demo and fitting products, plus a professional repair shop that can handle anything from a basic re-grip to a full set of re-shafts and everything in between. Golf Plus has locations in Dothan and Panama City Beach to serve you. Come see them today for all your golf needs. Located next to Firefly at the shops at Edgewater. Call 850-249-2726.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
I don't always talk to Alabama fans, but when I do, I ask for large fries. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. We got Mark McLeod with us this morning. Talking about the Florida Gators. Glenn Manley sitting here also. Brian's in the house. All right, Mark, let's get into it. We're talking about quarterback play at Florida. You got to have somebody to throw the ball to. What's the latest on the wide receivers, and are we going to go get some more wide receivers?
I think they've got to go get one. I really do. But, last week I was talking about Xavier Henderson and said, they need him to break through. I mean, he's not a number one. Is he really even a number two? In their programs, he wouldn't be. I'll tell you what, they had a scrimmage last Wednesday, and of all things, or Thursday, and Napier comes in and talks to us afterward and said, hey, Xavier Henderson had one impressive scrimmage. He caught 3 touchdown passes. The players afterwards were saying that how impressed they were with him and how impressive he's been. And Napier and then Billy Gonzalez a few days later said, Xavier is really starting. He's a smart player. He's a real heady player and knows the game and understands the game. But the confidence doesn't seem to be there for him completely. But Billy Gonzalez said he's starting to get it. He's starting to turn it loose now. And he said, this is what we've needed to see out of him. So maybe Florida fans will be a bit surprised by Xavier Henderson. Maybe we have a bit of a new Henderson, if you will, in the lineup for Florida. And that's much needed, guys. They need a number 2. They really do. There's no question right now Ricky Pearsall is your number 1, but they really are at a point where they have to depend on some of the young guys to come in. Billy Gonzalez really praised Andy Jean, and so did Billy Napier. Both of them talked about Andy Jean, who's a freshman from Miami, stepping up. And then, of course, Marcus Burke, redshirt sophomore out of Jacksonville, who has been really, really impressive, but only shown flashes here and there. But on the practice field, people talk about how good he is. All the corners and other wide receivers talk about just how impressive that young man is. But so hopefully they can get him going, because he's the guy with the length that you need to have. He's a big 6'4", 6'4.5", 195, 200-pound receiver, and that would be a blessing for one of those Florida quarterbacks.
Mark, your recruiting's doing well. They're getting transfers to come in there, and everything's looking pretty good. A lot better than what's done in the past. Have anybody mentioned the new standalone football facility? They invested all that money. That's got to be helping them in recruiting. But is anybody even mentioning it? Like, hey, this has been a great thing for us or anything like that?
Yeah, in fact, one of the guys that mentioned it, too, was Walter Clayton Jr., who they just got on the basketball team, transfer from Iona. Rick Pitino really wanted him to stay over there where he was because he played for Rick before, but Golden got him, and Walter Clayton's coming to Florida. He's a Bartow kid, led Bartow to the state championship. Just a terrific player. All of the little transfer portal, these guys that keep up with the transfer portal say here are the best players in the transfer portal. Walter Clayton Jr. is one of the top guards in the portal, top 10 in the country, and Florida got him. And lo and behold, he talks about the facility. He said, man, when I walked in that facility, I'd been in there before. He goes, but man, it is so cool. It is so neat and so welcoming for all of us players. So, yeah, and aside from the football players talking about it, you even got the basketball players on tape talking to some of the guys interviewing him about it.
I think Florida's the only school in the University of Florida is the only school in the state of Florida that has a big-time standalone football facility. I know Florida State's talking about building one. I don't think anybody else has it but Florida, correct?
Right. I don't know of anybody. And look, there's some real issues apparently down in Miami if you talk to some of these guys who are investment counselors about some of the money they're spending on players down there. There's going to be some interesting stuff. John Ruiz, the billionaire attorney, is been leading that charge for the Hurricanes, and I don't know. Some of these investment people are saying keep an eye on that.
All right. Let's get into baseball. 28-6, 9-3 in the SEC. Big win last night. Talk about baseball.
Yeah, nice win for the Gators last night, and no surprise. Sorry, Florida State fans, but they've got your number. They really have your number.
Yeah.
And it is just it's just been unbelievable what Kevin O'Sullivan has done. It kind of reminds me of what Spurrier did with Georgia. Guys, Georgia had a huge win. If you look at the overall wins over Florida, it was just enormous, and Spurrier cut that down to essentially nothing. Well, Kevin O'Sullivan has done the same thing here at Florida State with Florida State. He's 18-3 against Florida State at home. 18-3. And he's 34-19 against the Seminoles since he came to Florida in 2005. So Florida's won 21 of the last 25 meetings against Florida State. Great opportunity. Neely came in and shut it down. And Sully talked about, just how he's changed. last year he was the guy throwing in the upper 80s. He might hit 91, 92 on occasion, but now he's a consistent 94, 95 guy with that fastball. So he's really come on. And in Florida, it was a come-from-behind victory, but you get it done. And, guys, you talk about this all the time. You got to have certain guys step up. Florida did. Florida has a guy who wasn't playing. They brought him in for defensive purposes, Ty Evans, now 6'2" sophomore outfielder, and he gets the big 3-run blast to help Florida with a win.
You know, Mark, not to overlook a win over Florida State, which is always big in Gainesville, but go back to the weekend or Thursday through Saturday. Go on the road to Knoxville. Florida takes another series, haven't lost a series all year, and in a very tough place to play. I mean, Caglianone got roughed up a little bit on Saturday, and, you know, Tennessee got a little bit of revenge, but Gators look good. But there's one thing I wanted to ask you about. I was in a Zoom meeting on Thursday night and unfortunately didn't get to have the sound on in the game, but I was watching it in the background. That's how attentive I was to my meeting. But I noticed Brandon Sproat, he kind of landed awkwardly on a pitch or two, and when they pulled him, obviously wasn't happy. He was a little bit limpy. Is there any development on, does he have any kind of injury? Or
the only thing that has kind of come out, there's been a little talk about maybe he may have stretched something a little bit, but the rumor is he's going to pitch against Georgia. So that's the rumor, is that he's going to be the guy coming out Friday night against Georgia in Gainesville. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, that Saturday game against Tennessee was awful. I mean, 18 walks by the Florida staff, and then you have a game against Florida State last night. Nobody got walked. Right. So baseball is a weird thing.
Well, what I've been impressed with, I mean, we talked about it early, was we needed to develop the bullpen, and I'm seeing a lot of guys, and that's the fun part, is that it's a lot of guys. I mean, Cade Fisher has really had a good last week, but some of these other guys have really stepped up, and we know how huge that's going to be when you get to SEC tournament time, NCAA regional play, and certainly if you get to Omaha, you got to have a lot of arms, and that's got to bode well for Coach Sully.
Well, you're absolutely right. You've got to have that. You absolutely have to have that, because unfortunately you're hitting that time of the year where you're going to have some guys maybe come up. Maybe there's going to be an injury or two, or a guy that just needs a break. But you're probably not going to see that at Florida, because they have so many arms. That's a wealth and a luxury that Sully has. You know, it's going to play big next weekend, Brian, when Florida goes to Columbia to take on South Carolina. And South Carolina, did some nice things last weekend. They're proving that they're for real.
Yep.
Mark, are you going to make it to Hoover this year?
Oh yeah. You mean Nashville?
Oh, is it going to be the SEC tournaments in Nashville this year?
SEC baseball tournament? You're talking about SEC Media Days?
No. I'm
baseball
tournament. Baseball tournament.
I don't know that I'll make it over there. It depends on the timing of everything.
Yeah, and they did. So the Media Day has been moved to Nashville, right?
Yeah. Media Days will be in Nashville in mid-July. They've already announced all that stuff. So, I would love to be there. It's a long trip when you go to cover the baseball tournament. Well, at least you hope it's a long trip. You hope it's not a quick trip back home. Yeah. That's miserable. But great. The baseball tournament's fantastic for anyone who hasn't been, or if you have an opportunity to take a few days off and you really want to go see a great event, go check it out.
All right, Mark, we got you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. All
right, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on. Mark McLeod.
Yes, sir.
See you later, buddy. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, get out to J. Michael's today. World famous, only on Wednesday, world famous J. Michael's spaghetti. You will absolutely love it. If you don't want spaghetti, come out there and have some seafood. You'll love it there. Hey, they also have pork chops, unbelievable. Steaks, unreal. Burgers. Yeah, really good. Go to J. Michael's, legendary place, but try the spaghetti. You will love it. All right, Brian, Friday. Glenn, next Wednesday we got you?
Yeah.
All right. Tomorrow we have Jeremy Pridgeon here. I don't know if Tommy's out killing something or not. Maybe he's down there getting those snakes or something. Who knows? But, hey, Dave has got the underdogs rolling this afternoon. Feinbaum 6 to 10. Leave it right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Thank you for all of our great fans up there in Mariana, Port St. Joe, and all throughout Northwest Florida. We are out. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. 102.1 Mariana. 101.9 Port St. Joe.
ESPN Northwest Florida has the real local fishing report. Hi, this is Tim.